Limited belief systems exist so that certain people can have power and control over other people's minds. So it's never ideal for the individual to have that limited belief system, because the people that create them, they do not have the limited belief system. They know better. They know what the truth is. They're utilizing these limited belief systems to control people, to take advantage of people, to keep people down, and to, just to be able to control the situation, to control other people. And to get other people to do their dirty work. They paid someone who they told is a demon to go do all their dirty work, so that person goes and does it, but they think they're a demon and they think that's what they're supposed to do because they think that they are a sociopath and a psychopath and a narcissist and they can't get better. But you got to remember, our system is designed to keep us down so that certain individuals can be above us. So it is designed to make us sick and problematic, because if we heal, because we can heal. That's what the Word of God is. It's a set of instructions that shows you how to heal. And you can achieve it through Buddhism and yoga. However, you can do it in various ways. The point is a healthy diet, a healthy mental state, which is going to require you to deprogram your mind and then reprogram it, and it does take work. Meditation, connecting with nature, exercise. So, there's different ways to do it. The reason why I say Buddhism and yoga is because it's one of the oldest ways that works. So, it works. If it's not broke, don't fix it, right? Now, let's change asking people their age. You can ask me my date of birth, and then you can do the math. But do not tell me. And oftentimes, if we want these kinds of changes to happen, we have to abstain from anything that does that. Because people are taught to do stuff. So they're like, but that's not the way I was taught to do it. I was taught to get your age because I need to know how old you are, so that da-da-da-da-da. And so they don't think outside the box. They just do what they were told to do, how they were taught to do it. So they don't think outside the box. Placebo's real. I don't want to know my age. If I try to apply for something and it asks for my age, I'm going to do the best I can to get away with just giving my date of birth. And then if it spouts out my age to me, because I had this happen not too long ago, I gave my date of birth, like I forgot my age. And I gave my date of birth and they were like, "You're 42, great." I was upset. I was upset. So I ended up just canceling it out, and I said, okay, I'm not going to be a part of that, because to me that's disrespectful. And I know that there's people that are like, no, it's not. You shouldn't be ashamed of your age. It's not that I'm ashamed of my age, it's that the placebo is real. And if I'm constantly being told how old I am, it's going to literally make me age faster. And I believe this. And there's nothing wrong with respecting that. If I want to forget my age, there's nothing wrong with that. I can give you my date of birth, you can do the math, and you can keep it to yourself. I don't need to know my age. I know that people will say that today's era is weak because, we don't go through the things that the people of the past went through, but collectively we are evolving. And I think it goes without saying that with children and young adults, we should keep up with the age. Plus, they enjoy birthday parties. So we can keep up with the age up until 30, celebrate it with birthday parties and everything. After 30, if a person wants to keep having birthday parties, well, let them. That's their life. If they don't, well, then don't. But to apply for things, all they need to do is give their birth date. And if the age is relevant, then whoever receives the birth date can do the math. Aside from that, it really doesn't help to constantly be reminded of your age, but it does actually cause a hindrance. Because if you think about it, it is problematic. Because if you are constantly being reminded, I can tell you this. When I forgot my age, I felt younger. When I was reminded of my age, I instantly felt old. Even if I'm not old, it's the oldest I've ever been, so I felt old. And that is problematic when it comes to the placebo. So for children up until 30 years old, sure, celebrate their birthdays. After 30, let it be optional. Respect the individual's wishes. And whenever if they have to go to a doctor or something similar where the age is relevant, they can give their birth date. And then just, do whatever needs to be done, but the actual age does not need to be brought up. And I'm just, see, I watched this video where this girl said if somebody walks alone and comes up with their own theories on spirituality, in reality, that they are narcissistic with spiritual psychosis. And that only revealed that she has bad intentions and she has an agenda. And because somebody walking alone, there could be many reasons as to why that's happening. And to be so incompassionate as to manipulate the masses to look at everyone that walks alone as a narcissist, and that's not even a sign of narcissism. I mean, that could be an individual that was badly abused, badly betrayed, badly manipulated, and she is trying to encourage people to look at them as narcissists instead of trying to help, be compassionate, be understanding, get to know them, be loving. So these are some of the ways that you can tell what a person's intentions are, so you can find what their agenda is, so you can determine if it's somebody you want to listen to or not. I know if somebody has bad intentions and they have certain agendas where it's going to create problems for certain individuals, I will not listen to them. Unless, of course, the source of all life, because when I say Father, I'm referring to the source of all life, all consciousness, all energy. And sometimes my Heavenly Father will bring things to my attention because, for learning experiences. And so I can address them. That way I can always look in at different perspectives, different point of views, not just being manipulated and programmed to see things one way that's actually going to cause certain individuals to be hurt. So, and then as a spiritual psychosis, because you come up with your own perception on reality, how do you suppose we evolve as a species? If nobody came up with new theories on reality or new theories, period, how would we evolve? So do you want to know who doesn't want us to evolve? The power structure. And they use secret societies, cults, and certain groups to push their agendas to make sure that the masses are not evolving. And they will have their members infiltrate every area of life. So they will have people infiltrate spirituality. They will have people infiltrate religion. Because when I had these satanic cult people messing with me, they would go to church every Wednesday, every Sunday. So, they will have their people infiltrate every area of the power structure: religion, spirituality, attorneys, judges, police officers, military. They do this so that they can always keep an eye out, to see who's thinking freely, who's speaking the truth, who's trying to encourage people to heal, who's trying to evolve beyond their limitations they're trying to put on us so they can keep us in control, so they can keep us down. Plus, a lot of the times when people say that something is new age or a new theory, it's actually extremely old information. I know that for me personally, people have said that the stuff that I say is new age, but it's actually older than Christianity. It goes all the way back to Hinduism, and it aligns with what Jesus taught. It actually goes past further than Hinduism. And the God that I speak of is the same God that Albert Einstein believed in. Albert Einstein said, "I believe in the God of Spinoza, the God that is the harmony of things." And that's the same God I believe in. The God that is higher consciousness and higher frequency, that heals, restores life, and makes sure that everything is functioning properly, in harmony. So oftentimes people that are ignorant will say that what you're saying is new age because it's not popular. But really, it's not new age. It is old, oftentimes older than their limited beliefs, but they aren't educated. And you can always tell who's educated and who has good intentions and who is not and does not, because the people that are educated and have good intentions do not attack people. They do not manipulate people to look at certain individuals a certain way based on very little evidence. Like, I strongly advise that you do not judge people. Like, if they are walking alone, I say get to know them. Maybe they could use a friend. Maybe they've been through a lot of hardships, a lot of betrayal. And love is exactly what they need. Love and compassion. So I would never encourage you to look at a loner and call them a narcissist, because when you look at the DSM-5, that's not even a trait for narcissism. Narcissists love to be around people because they love to deceive and manipulate people. They like to take advantage of people. So they are actually less likely to be alone. You know, those kinds of intentions where someone's manipulating, they're trying to get you to look at people in a negative way based on nothing accurate. They have bad intentions. Like I say, the only true division is between those who have good intentions and those who have bad intentions, which is why in the Holy Bible it says towards the end, there's a struggle between good and evil. There's a struggle between angels and demons. And that's why I strongly advise that you always pay attention to a person's intentions, their lifestyle, and what's their agenda. Are they speaking truth? Or are they trying to get you to see people a certain way? Because sometimes people will have you, they will always put crazy women in your face because they want you to see women as crazy. Sometimes they will always put abusive men in your face because they want you to see all men as abusive. But the truth is, there are crazy, abusive men and women. So you want to really pay attention to how honest is the person being. Are they pushing an agenda? Are they being one-sided? Or are they trying to be accurate and logical? Because that's how you're going to find out who has good intentions and who does not.